Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be one of a series of preseason videos for the upcoming 2025 season of football for the Iowa High School football officials. This one is going to focus on some new mechanics that we put in a few years ago in regards to kickoffs and the mechanics on punt plays, and also some rules that deal with those plays as well. So if I go back here, first of all, this is where we want to position ourselves. We have our back judge who's going to be on K's line. After the kick, he should hustle in and diagonal to the 50-yard line and the hash mark. So you should be going good rate of speed, get into that hash, hopefully before there's any contact between players. So this is when that ball's in the air. The umpire is going to start on R's restraining line, the 50, and he's just going to go 5 yards as he diagonals downfield. He's going to diagonal only 5 yards. And again, we do want him to try to get into the hash. The referee is going to be on the goal line, no matter what, pretty much. The H and the L are going to be anywhere from the goal line to the 10-yard line. So if the ball is going to be first touched at or inside the 10, we want you to be on the goal line pylon. If you've seen that kicker and this ball comes down at the 20-yard line or the 15-yard line, and that's where that ball is going to be caught by a return man, then you can move up. But remember, our goal is that you are 10 yards behind the returner when he picks the ball up. So better off being a little too far behind than being too close. So let's continue looking at this play. We'll talk about what we do within the play. Again, this ball is going, and it's going to end up being a touchback. So you can see we're moving back, but we got to know, before the opening kick. If we don't know, then put yourself at the goal line pylon. If you've seen the guy kicking the ball and he's getting the ball to the 10 or inside the 10, you should be at the goal line pylon and just stay there. Now, this is kind of our coverage zones that we are looking for blocks if we have a kickoff that is being returned. The referee's looking out in front, more in the middle, in front of the returner. He is not responsible for progress. He's only looking for blocks. The line judge and the headline judge are looking at blocks in front of the return man. If he is not your responsibility because he's on the other half of the field, then you're watching for blocks the whole time. If he's your responsibility, then you're going to watch for blocks until he is someone's close enough that they could foul him or tackle him, and then you need to have that progress spot and have the action on the runner for a face mask foul or something like that. The umpire, like we said, is going to diagonal in, so we'd want to come in more to angle here and get settled in at the 45-yard line. And this is kind of your zone. And the back judge is going to diagonal in to the 50, and this is going to be your zone. Now, obviously, if that ball's kicked to one corner, everything kind of shifts, towards that side of the field, and everything narrows that down a little bit. But we want to pick up the blockers that would be kind of in our zone area. Now, this one, we have a touchback. So the the headline judge has already talked to the coach. He already knows the ball position. Right now, he's getting on his 0-2-0, you can see, and he's already telling the crew what the ball position is going to be. Remember, on a touchback, they can pick the ball position from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be snapped at the 20-yard line. If the ball is kicked out of bounds, you don't have that choice. So if that ball would get kicked out of bounds here, then we're going to go to the 35-yard line, but that ball has to be snapped from this hash going from the 35. They do not have the option of putting that ball at a different location if it goes out of bounds. It has to be on that side. Okay, continuing with free kicks, and this is for the back judge. You always want to be thinking of an onside kick. You always want to be thinking, did anyone break the pane of glass that we have imaginary pane of glass that we have. And if so, if it's a deep kick, more than 30 yards, 35 yards, we're going to let that go. If that player barely breaks that plane, is not like more than a yard pass with the foot down and so on. But if he breaks that pane of glass, and then you see that this ends up being a short kick, a pop-up, not a pop-up, a squib, a pooch, or something like that, or a little dribbler, even if it continues downfield, 30 yards or so, we need to be shutting it down. So right now, we definitely have this player who's breaking the pane of glass, and now we need to see, where does this kick go? If it's short, then we need to be on this whistle. This is short enough that we would want this to be blown dead, because this ball goes about 33 yards, is picked up at the 32-yard line, and that's the guy who got the extra start. And look at him. He's already down there, almost close enough where he could, make a play on that ball. And we know that ball we'd have a live ball there. So they could not advance it, but Team K could possess it. So if that kick is short enough that they have that advantage, that's when we need to shut it down. Continuing with kickoffs, remember another rule that we're not going to look at here, but we're going to talk about, if they do a pop-up kick, we always need to be thinking of a pop-up kick. If they do a pop-up kick, that ball's driven down into the ground. If that ball bounces on that first bounce above the kicker's head about 6 feet, it's dead immediately. Back them up 5, kick it again. Okay? This is a pooch. So we need to know if that ball is pooched up in the air or if it's driven down into the ground and then pops up into the air. In this case, it's a pooch. But remember, they need to have an unimpeded opportunity to make that catch. And it doesn't matter if they signal for a fair catch or not. They get that unimpeded opportunity. In this case, he signals, 2 guys signal, and these guys definitely are not giving them the opportunity to complete that catch. So this would be kick-catch interference. And remember, that is 15 yards from the spot of the foul. So we're going to go in here to the 44-yard line, and we're going to go 5, 10, 15 yards. And our next snap is going to be right there at the positive 41. Okay? Now, remember, high school football, let's say that for some reason this guy's not here and there's no one around this ball for Team B. Team A, by rule, still cannot get that ball out of the air. They've got to let that ball bounce. So it's a kind of an odd rule for KCI. It's a high school rule only, but that is the rule in high school. All right, moving on. Another free kick. We've got a muff, so that ball's live. Good job. We've got the winding of the clock. I would be patient here. No reason to leave that goal line yet. We're still inside the 10. Just wait for him to pick it up. Good job by the referee of just holding. But now we're going to have a block in the back on the return team. So we need to communicate to the crew, when this foul happens. So when this happens during the return and you say, block in the back, when you start out by saying during the return, illegal block in the back, and number 10 of the return team. When you say during the return, everyone knows this is a running play. So what's the basic spot on a running play? The end of the run. And thus, we are going to see where that end of the run is. We're going to see where the block is. The block occurs at about the 17-yard line. The end of the run is the 20. So we have the basic spot, the 20. The foul is by the team in possession behind the basic spot. So we're going to enforce it from the spot of the foul, from the 17 back to the 7. If our flag would not be in the right location, we need to make sure we move our flag to that proper yard line. Okay, now we look at punt plays. Again, new mechanics for Iowa is our positioning on punt plays. And I'm happy to say that South Dakota is instituting both of these mechanics that we started a couple years ago this year for South Dakota as well. So back judge, you are going to start out basically right by, if there's one returner, you're going to start out basically right behind him. And then if there's two return men, you're going to be in between them, about 5 to 7 yards behind in between. And if it's only one, 5 or 7 yards, basically right behind them. You are going to be watching for a valid or invalid fair catch signal. You will not watch anything else until that ball is possessed. So you cannot be watching for any blocks or anything like that until that ball is picked up. Our line judge, remember, releases hard at the snap. You got to go hard. We want you to get as far downfield as you possibly can. As you're doing so, you're going to be watching for the outside guys on your side of the field. And that might be 1, 2, might be 3 players. And you're going to be watching for holds, illegal blocks in the back. Do not watch the ball. Do not watch the return man while the ball's in the air. You need to be watching your guys on your side of the field who are going downfield for those illegal blocks. Headline judge, you are going to basically, as soon as that ball is kicked or as soon as you can see that ball is going to get kicked, you can start going. Again, you're going to go as hard as you can, and you're going to be watching for blocks by those first 2 or 3 guys on your side of the field. Umpire, new mechanic that you can try, and I think you're going to like it. Worked great in high school football. Start out just behind the linebackers like this umpire does. But then after this ball snapped and after the kick, step up and kind of like you do on a pass play and find some safe area where the players are kind of separating. They're not moving very fast right now. They'll get past you quicker, and then you can pivot and you can watch that second and third wave action by those players in the middle of the field. So the advantage you have on this is if you look here, our umpire almost gets hit, and that's just talking about our headline judge going right away. Our umpire almost gets hit. If he had moved up into this soft area right here, 1, the players aren't going near as fast if they would bump into him, and 2, he's able to spin and pivot and then watch for illegal blocks by the second, third wave guys a little sooner. Really good job of officiating here. Excellent mechanics by the back judge. Excellent positioning. We're about 7 yards behind and about 7 yards to the side of this return man. You should never have to go outside the hash. But the excellent position here. Tossing the beanbag out in front at the yard line where that ball was possessed. And great call here by our headline judge. We have chase mode right here. We're going to see a block in the back coming. We have chase mode here, so potential for a block in the back. But as we go through here, here's going to be our block in the back. Right now, he just pushed him in the back. It's going to propel him by that runner. And we need to know when that block occurred, what's the status of the ball. What I mean by that is the ball still in the air? Is it still rolling around, bouncing around on the ground, or has it been possessed? So if it has not yet been possessed, we start out by saying during the kick. But in this case, the ball's been possessed, so we start out with 3 words, during the return. And we have a block in the back at the 28, and it is during the return. So we need to wait and see where that end of the run is. And this is a foul that, if it's during the kick, we have PSK. That's why our beanbag's important. But in this case, we have it during the return. So that means it's a running play. And just like a handoff, the basic spot's going to be end of the run. In this case, the end of the run ends up being the 27-yard line. The block in the block in the back was in advance of that at the 28. Therefore, we're going to enforce this penalty from the end of the run. So if we take a look at where this player gets tackled, 27-yard line, our flag comes in. Our flag goes too far downfield. And if we don't realize that and see, oh, my flag went too far, the block occurred up here at the 28, my flag went down here to the 22. If we think that that block occurred where the flag was, we're going to enforce it from that spot of that foul, the 22, which is incorrect because the foul actually was at the 28. So that's why we need to know where that block in the back occurred, what the status of the ball was to properly enforce this penalty. Continuing with punt plays. So again, just watching as we're coming downfield. This is kind of who we're watching. We're watching the outside guy on our side, outside couple players on the side for the headline judge. Umpires watching these guys, the second, third wave going down the middle of the field. So now we get the punt being muffed. I like the fact that we're pretty much at the goal line, but you can see we're pretty much right behind this guy, so we don't have a good angle to see, one, if he touched it and muffed it or if he just missed it. We also don't have a good angle to see if someone was too close for KCI. So goal line was good, but be wider. Wider is always going to be your friend as a back judge. If you're caught off guard, you're better off being not deep enough but wide, rather than you're deeper but you're not wide enough. We need that angle. So now the H and the L, just showing here, this guy's on the field, running down the field. We want to be off the field in the white as we're going down the field. Okay, good rules knowledge here. We have, our saying is a kick is a kick is a kick. This is a muffed kick. As soon as that breaks the goal line, it's dead and we've got to touch back. A high school rule, the kick is dead when it breaks the plane of the goal line and will be a touchback. So good job here of recognizing that, killing the clock, and we're going to have a touchback. Again, they get their choice of ball position since we have a touchback. All right, now on this one, you can see we've got two return guys back here. Okay, we've got one deeper and one up further. Good rules knowledge in knowing that if either one of these guys signals for a fair catch, it's going to be dead when anybody on Team R possesses it. So if we take a look here, we're going to have a fair catch signal here. If you take a look, we're going to have a fair catch signal right there. Okay, so now it doesn't matter who possesses this ball for Team R, it's going to be dead. And you can see the guy who was further back comes up and actually catches it and takes off running. And watch right away, our line judge does a great job of hustling downfield, and he's all over this, and he knows this is dead, and he's killing the clock, and he's got the proper spot. Might have to explain that to the coach, but excellent job of understanding the rule by our line judge and our back judge on that play. Okay, field goals. Remember, a field goal in high school football, it's a type of scrimmage kick. And in high school football, it's different than college. If we have a missed field goal that does not make it to the goal line, it's dead at that point. If it just rolls dead, and it's like a punt, they roll dead at the 5-yard line. They're going to get the ball at the 5-yard line. In this case, we've got a really long field goal. It didn't make it to the upright, but it broke the plane of the goal line. Once it breaks the plane of the goal line, it's dead. In this case, he muffs it, picks it up, and runs it back. This is not good. Okay? We have to know this. We have to be shutting this down. When that guy's sitting in the back of the end zone, anybody on the crew could have been saying, okay, remember, if this ball comes up short but breaks the plane of the goal line, it's dead, and we have a touchback. You can't return it out of the end zone. They can do that in college, not in high school. So the problem is everyone's all excited. This dude runs this back. If somebody ends up getting hurt on this play, it is 100% on us, because this play should have never continued once that ball broke the plane. So rules knowledge, we need to understand those rules. Okay, just short of 20 minutes, perfect. Those will focus on our Iowa free kick and our Iowa scrimmage kick mechanics and some rules around those. So make sure you study these. Make sure you're prepared when you get to your first game of the year. Talk to you again soon.